It's Wednesday the 2nd of July, Tolofalava. I have with me today Barbara Edmonds, who's one of three new Samoan MPs in our Parliament. And because it's Samoan Language Week, I've asked her to come along today, but also to do the prayer. Barbara, you've brought someone special with us.
I have Emanuel Vaiaso o le nganganga Samoa. Happy Samoan Language Week. I have brought with me my Samoan language teacher, which is Talupapa. Thank you very much, Talupapa, for joining us.
Mahalofa aftai. Ia o loingoa o Talupapa le atinganga tuitaua whaangalo. Ua ia tiao le nganga whaaftai ona o mwhai o na maone ni awa noa tāu ai whaatasi mai ai. Whaaftai tele i le malo New Zealand i le whaataua ina o le nei vai aso ua whaapitua mō le ngana Samoa.
So who do you teach? Who do you teach when you teach little kids, or you obviously teach sort of older kids like Barbara?
Thank you for the question, Speaker. O te aoina ia le vasenga ia 9 se ia o atu i le vasenga sfulutolu. Atua ai fo'i ma tangata mātutua i le Tawa Community Education Centre. So, o te aoina ia le ngana Samoa I aongana. So what I've just said, Speaker, is the fact that I teach year 9 up to year 13, Ngangana Samoa, as well as adults in the Tawa Community Education Centre.
Oh, that sounds really good. And Barbara, you understand spoken Samoan.
I understand it, and Samoa is my first language. But now, as I've gotten older, and the difficulty for New Zealand-born Samoans is if you're not using it every day, you can lose the confidence to be able to speak it. So I'm really fortunate that Talupapa takes her time out of her Sunday to be able to take me and teach me and to help grow my confidence in this area.
Well, whawhatai both for doing that, but also for helping us out today.
Oh, it's a pleasure, Speaker. I think the important thing is for our people to realise that Ngangana Samoa is a tradition and it is part of our identity, our whaasinomanga, wherever we are, wherever we go in the world. It is part of us.
I can remember as Minister of Education years ago, we published a lot of books, mainly for the early childhood education centres, the language nests, and I can remember being very much welcomed for the production of those books because there wasn't much around at the time. But we better get on with the work. So today we're going to start off with a question for oral answer. Duncan Webb to the Minister of Finance about reports on the economy. Chloe Swarbrick to the Associate Minister of Housing about protecting landlords and tenants. Judith Collins to the Prime Minister about whether she stands by her statements and actions. Rachel Brooking to the Minister of Energy about heating and insulation and what happened in the budget. Debbie Ngārewa-Paka to the Minister responsible for the NZSIS about whether he stands by his statements and actions. Andrew Bailey to the Minister of Finance about productivity in New Zealand and the budget. Sarah Pallett to the Acting Minister for Emergency Management about the Canterbury floods. Brooke Van Velden to the Minister of Housing. Now, I seem to remember whare. Is whare the word for house? What would we call a Minister of Housing in Samoan?
Minister of Whare.
Oh yeah, Minister of Whare. I got that.
Is that an A? That's
yeah,
an A. It's cool.
Yeah, well, I sort of one out of one. Not sure about the pronunciation, but we'll get there. Minister of Housing about policies for first home buyers and helping them keep up with rising house prices. Willow Jean Prime to the Minister for Women. Now, what's the word for woman in Samoan? Minister for Woman.
Minister Motina.
Tina. All right, well I'm very deliberately not going to go make any comment at all about Samoan politics and women at the moment. We'll just leave that for people to sort out over there. Chris Bishop to the Minister for COVID-19 response about whether he stands by all the statements and actions. Ingrid Leary to the Minister of Transport about rail. And Paul Goldsmith to the Minister of Education about white privilege and whether that's part of the education agenda. After that, we will go on to the budget debate. There's 2 hours and nearly a half left, and so that debate will wrap up probably with a 10-minute speech from the Minister this afternoon. The Maritime Transport Marpole Annex 6 Amendment Bill, I still haven't been listening to that debate, so it's the interrupted first reading, so I'm yet to work out what Marpole Annex 6 is actually about, but we'll find out at some stage. Then the interrupted debate on the Fair Trading Bill in the name of David Clark, the National Cervical Screening Program Amendment Bill, second reading in the name of Aisha Verrill, and we might get on to Poto Williams and the Building Products and Methods Amendment Bill. So we'll run today from 2 till 6. We'll run from 7 till 10. Members have been in select committees all morning, and we'll be back here at 2 o'clock for the Thursday session. Thank you. Whawhatai.